The night was cold, clear, and silent. The vast expanse of the Atlantic seemed peaceful, almost serene. The seemingly invincible Titanic sliced through the dark waters of the Atlantic, a marvel of modern engineering and human ambition. Inside, opulence and laughter filled the grand halls. Passengers reveled in the luxury, unaware of the lurking danger. Then, a shudder. A barely perceptible tremor ran through the ship's steel frame, a subtle hint of the impending disaster. A distant scraping sound echoed from somewhere below. The music stopped. Conversations faltered, replaced by a growing sense of unease. A fleeting moment of collective unease hung in the air, as if the ship itself was holding its breath. But deep within the belly of the beast, the unseen wound festered, a gash that would seal the ship's fate. Seawater, icy and relentless, poured into the ship's compartments, flooding them with a chilling inevitability. The heart of the Titanic vibrated with a new unsettling rhythm, a mechanical heartbeat that signaled distress. The illusion of invincibility began to crack, the ship's mighty frame groaning under the pressure. The ship, once a symbol of human triumph, was now in a desperate battle for survival, its grandeur overshadowed by the looming catastrophe. In the bowels of the ship, alarms were already sounding, a clarion call to action. Orders were barked, hatches slammed shut, and the fight to save the Titanic began in earnest, a race against time and the unforgiving sea. The whispers started subtly, like the first hints of a storm on the horizon. At first, they were barely noticeable, just a few hushed conversations in the corners of the room. But as the minutes ticked by, the whispers grew louder, more urgent, spreading like wildfire through the ship. A slight list to starboard became noticeable as champagne sloshed in crystal glasses. The elegant dinner setting, once a scene of opulence and joy, now seemed precarious. The gentle tilt of the ship was a silent harbinger of the trouble brewing below. Denials from the crew did little to quell the growing anxiety among the passengers. Reassurances were met with skeptical glances and murmurs of disbelief. The crew's calm demeanor was a thin veneer over the rising tide of fear. The once festive atmosphere took on a chilling undercurrent of uncertainty. Laughter faded, replaced by worried whispers and darting glances. The grand dining room, adorned with decorations, now felt like a gilded cage. Panic, like a contagious disease, began to spread. It started with a few, but soon the entire ship was gripped by a collective fear. People ran, their faces masks of terror, as the reality of their situation began to sink in. The icy breath of the ocean seemed to seep into the very air they breathed. Each gust of wind carried with it a reminder of the cold, unforgiving sea that awaited them. The misty air clung to their skin, a chilling embrace. The once bright lights flickered, casting long, eerie shadows across the frightened faces. The ship's interior, once a beacon of safety, now felt like a haunted house, each flicker of light a reminder of their dire situation. The band played on, their melodies a haunting counterpoint to the growing chaos. The music, once a source of joy, now felt like a requiem, a final farewell to the ship and its passengers. The ship groaned, its steel bones protesting under the relentless pressure of the encroaching sea. Each creak and groan was a testament to the ship's struggle, a battle it was slowly losing. The once mighty engines slowed, their rhythmic pulse faltering like a dying heart. The powerful hum that had once driven the ship forward now sputtered and gasped, a mechanical death rattle. In the darkness, lit only by flickering gas lamps and the fear in men's eyes, the battle against the inevitable was being lost. The ship, once a symbol of human ingenuity and strength, was now a fragile vessel at the mercy of the unforgiving sea. With each passing moment, the sea encroached further. The lower decks, home to steerage passengers and many of the ship's hard-working crew, were the first to succumb. Families huddled together, their prayers and sobs echoing in the darkness. The lucky ones made their way to the upper decks, their faces etched with terror and disbelief. The lifeboats, symbols of hope in the face of disaster, were woefully inadequate. Chaos reigned as mothers clung to children, husbands bid tearful farewells to wives. The band played on, their music a bittersweet serenade to the dying giant. The Titanic, mortally wounded, was sinking, taking with it the dreams and aspirations of over 2,200 souls. Even as despair threatened to consume all hope, acts of extraordinary courage shone through the darkness. The wireless operators, Jack Phillips and Harold Bride, continued to tap out distress signals. Their fingers flew across the keys, sending out a desperate beacon into the vast emptiness of the Atlantic. In the engine rooms, stokers and firemen fought valiantly to keep the lights and pumps working. Their faces, blackened by soot and sweat, were illuminated by the flickering flames. Captain Edward Smith, a figure of stoic leadership, stayed on the bridge, his hand on the ship's wheel. His final moments echoed the bravery displayed by so many on that fateful night. In the face of unimaginable terror, the human spirit endured. Acts of selflessness and compassion became beacons of light in the encroaching darkness. Mothers comforted their children, whispering stories of hope and courage. Husbands and wives clung to each other, finding solace in their love. The band, their instruments echoing through the night, played on. Their music provided a surreal soundtrack to the tragedy. The heart of the Titanic may have been failing, but the human heart still beat strong. In the final hours, it was the indomitable spirit of those on board that shone the brightest. The final moments were agonizingly slow and terrifyingly fast all at once. The Titanic, her back broken, stood almost vertically in the water. Then, with a final shuddering groan, she slipped beneath the waves. The icy Atlantic closed over the ship like a shroud. The lights, flickering one last time, winked out, plunging the world into an eerie silence. The Titanic became a tomb of steel and dreams, resting on the ocean floor. The sinking of the Titanic sent shockwaves around the world. The tragedy exposed the limitations of technology in the face of nature's fury. The sinking of the Titanic remains one of the most poignant maritime disasters in history. On that fateful night in April 1912, the unsinkable ship met its tragic end after colliding with an iceberg. The loss of over 1,500 lives sent shockwaves around the world, forever etching the Titanic into the annals of history. More than a century later, the story continues to fascinate and haunt us. From books and movies to museum exhibits, the Titanic's tale is retold and re-examined, captivating new generations. The ship's grandeur and the human stories intertwined with its fate remain a source of endless intrigue. The tragedy spurred significant changes in maritime safety regulations. The International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS, was established, mandating lifeboat drills, improved ship design, and better communication systems. These measures have saved countless lives since. But perhaps the most enduring legacy of the Titanic lies in the stories of those who were there. Survivors recounted harrowing tales of survival, loss, and the human spirit's resilience. Their testimonies provide a poignant window into the past. Tales of courage and selflessness, of love and loss, continue to resonate today. The bravery of individuals who faced unimaginable fear and the sacrifices made in the face of certain death are remembered and honored. The musicians who played on, providing solace in the ship's final moments, the wireless operators who stayed at their posts, sending out distress signals until the very end, the passengers and crew who gave their lives to save others. Their actions exemplify the best of humanity in the darkest of times. The Titanic may lie at the bottom of the ocean, but her story lives on. The wreck, discovered decades later, serves as a haunting reminder of the past and a testament to the enduring human spirit. She stands as a stark reminder of the power of nature and the enduring strength of the human spirit. The Titanic's legacy is a powerful narrative of human ambition, tragedy, and the relentless pursuit of safety and progress.